And this, dear students, in this video lecture, we will discuss nitrines as reaction intermediate, and we will discuss their structure and different methods of their preparation. So let us start. So nitrines, these nitrines, they are reaction intermediates, and they are nitrogen analogues of carbenes. They are nitrogen analogues of carbenes. So they are very similar to carbenes, and in carbenes you have a carbon, but here instead of carbon you have nitrogen, so that's why they are called nitrines. So these nitrines, they can be defined as highly reactive reaction intermediates. They can be defined as highly reactive reaction intermediates in which there is a monovalent nitrogen, in which there is a monovalent nitrogen with 6 valence electrons. So if you remember, in case of carbenes, you have a divalent carbon with 6 valence electrons, but in case of nitrine, since it's a nitrogen analog, so you have monovalent nitrogen with 6 valence electrons. So monovalent means there's only one covalent bond with nitrogen. So we can write this structure as this. So two bond pair of electrons are here, two here, two here. So there are total 6 valence electrons. So in this way, just like carbenes, they are electron deficient species. And since they need electrons, so that's why they are highly reactive and they act as electrophiles. In a similar way as that of carbenes, these nitrines, they are also electrophiles in nature. They are electron deficient compounds. Now let's look at the structure of these nitrines. Structure of these nitrines. Now out of these non-bonded pair of electrons, you can see there are two non-bonded pair of electrons. One is this one and another is this one. Okay, now out of these two non-bonded pair of electrons, one pair of electron is always present in a hybrid orbital. Why? Because now nitrogen has atomic number of 7, so it has an electronic configuration of 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, and this one is its valence shell. This one is a valence shell. So here you have 2 electrons in 2s orbital and there are 3 electrons in 2p orbital. Now in order to form there are total 6 valence electrons, so there are total 5 here and 6 electron will come from this subsequent group which will form a covalent bond. Now you can see this 2s orbital, it will always have this pair of electrons, whether it's a sp hybridization, sp2, whatever it is, it will always have this pair of electrons. So this pair of electron will always be there in hybrid orbital. While this another electrons, now in order to form this single covalent bond, one electron will come from the alkyl group or this subsequent group. So here it forms this group. This forms this single covalent bond by sharing of electron. Now you can see there are total 6 valence electron, 2, 4 and 6, and this is s orbital. This is your px, py and pz. Now you can see there are two things can happen. One, this nitrine, they may have sp hybridization by combination of these two orbital s and p. So in that case, these two remaining non-bonded electrons, they have a parallel spin and they are present in a different orbitals. Or other thing is, this one electron, it move into hybrid orbital like this. Okay. So like this. So it moves over here, and this p orbital is now vacant, and here is your r. So now it can have sp2 hybridization. So it may have sp hybridization or it may have sp2 hybridization. Now in sp2 hybridization, this non-bonded pair of electron is present in sp2 orbital and it is paired, while here both electrons, they are unpaired and they have parallel spin. So just like carbines, depending upon spin of these non-bonded electrons over here, whether they have a parallel spin or they have an anti-parallel spin, just in case of carbines, these nitrines, they may have singlet nitrines. You can define them as a singlet nitrines, or you can define them as a triplet nitrine. So in case of singlet nitrine, their multiplicity is 1. So as we have discussed previously, multiplicity is given by 2s plus 1, where s is a total spin quantum number. And here in case of singlet nitrine, since both electrons, they are paired, so their total spin quantum number is 0. This is plus 1 by 2, and this is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise, this is minus 1 by 2. So they cancel out each other and their total spin is 0, and this multiplicity will become 1. So in case of singlet nitrine, both electrons, they are present anti-parallel to each other. Their spin is anti-parallel. Okay, their spin is anti-parallel, or so you can say both electron spins are paired. So in this case, when it is a singlet nitrine, it has sp2 hybridization. Why? Because this, you can see here in sp2 hybridization, only these both electrons, they are anti-parallel spin. Both electrons, they are paired. If they are present in two different p orbitals, in that case they must have a parallel spin. They have only they will be paired up, or they will have a only anti-parallel spin when they are present in a same orbital, which is in sp2 hybrid orbital. So singlet nitrines, just like the singlet carbines, they have sp2 hybridization with trigonal planar structure. So here you have structure like this. So the sp2 hybridization. So there is one bond pair of electron which is sp2 hybridized. This is also sp2 hybrid orbital. And this is also sp2 hybrid orbital. So in one sp2 hybrid orbital, you have this non-bonded electron, or you can say lone pair of electron, and to another you have this one. So this is sp2 hybrid orbital, and there's one vacant p atomic orbital which is present perpendicular to the plane of these sp2 hybrid orbitals. So it is present like this. So it is vacant pz atomic orbital. So this is structure of singlet nitrine, in which both electrons are paired and non-bonding electrons are paired, and they are present in a same orbital. The second possibility, or the second structure, or the second type of nitrines are triplet nitrines. So in case of triplet nitrines, as in case of triplet carbines, here both electrons, they will have parallel spin, and since they have a parallel spin, so their total spin quantum number will be 1. So spin multiplicity will be given by 2s plus 1. So s is 1 over here, so it will be 3. So that's why it is called triplet nitrines. Now in case of triplet nitrine, in order to both electrons to have a parallel spin, they must be present in a different orbital, because in the same orbital two electrons can't have a same spin, so they must be present in different orbitals of same energy. So here they have sp hybridization, in which these two electrons, non-bonding electrons, they are present in unhybridized p atomic orbital. So you have two sp hybrid orbital. One is involved in a formation of sigma bond with the alkyl group, another have a these pair of electrons, and you have a two unhybridized p atomic orbitals having one electron each. So these are your p atomic orbital and this is your sp hybrid orbital. So it has a linear structure. So triplet nitrines, they have a linear structure with sp hybridization, while singlet nitrines, they have a sp2 hybridization. This is very important and it's normally asked in question, discuss the structure of singlet and triplet nitrines. So you have to discuss the structure of these singlet and triplet nitrines. Now, as in previous case, in case of carbenes, if you look out of these singlet and triplet nitrines, which is more stable? Which is more stable? So same as in previous case, these triplet nitrines, they are more stable. Why they are more stable? Because in case of singlet nitrine, both electrons, they are present in a same orbital. So both electrons, they are present in a same sp2 hybrid orbital. Since they are present in the same orbital, so there's a greater electron repulsions as compared to when both electrons, they are present in different orbitals. So they are away from each other, so they have lesser electron repulsions. And since they have a lesser electron repulsions in triplet nitrine, so they have a lower energy and more stability. So triplet nitrines in general are more stable as compared to singlet nitrine because of lesser electron repulsions, as both electrons, they are present in a different orbitals. Now next is, if you look out of these nitrines and carbenes, which is more stable? So out of nitrine and carbene, which is more stable? Now both are electron deficient compounds. Both nitrines and carbenes are electron deficient compounds. In carbenes, you have a one pair of electron which is present over non-bonding pair of electron present over carbon, while in case of nitrines, you have two non-bonded pair of electrons present over nitrogen. Now out of these, nitrines are more stable as compared to carbene. These nitrines, they are more stable as compared to carbene. Why? Because this nitrogen, it is more electronegative. And since it is more electronegative, it holds this non-bonded pair of electron more closer to itself as compared to carbon. So these nitrines, they have lower energy and more stability. So out of these carbenes and nitrines, these nitrines, they are more stable. And why they are more stable? Because of more electronegativity of these nitrogen atom, which hold these electrons more close to itself and provides a more stability. Okay, and which provides a more stability. Now next is, let us see different methods of preparation of these nitrines. Methods of preparation of nitrines. So these nitrines, they can be prepared by the various methods, but the basic fundamental thing is there's a loss of two groups, one with bond pair of electrons and another without bond pair of electrons. So the very first method is we can prepare these nitrines from azides. We can prepare nitrines from azides by thermolysis. So azides are these compounds. We can also write it as Rn. So here you have a double bond and double bond, and here you have positive charge because nitrogen forming four bonds, and here you have a negative charge, and I can write its resonance structure like this: Rn negative triple bond. Now when you heat these azides or in presence of light, what happens? This nitro-nitro bond breaks and this bond pair of electrons is taken by this nitrogen with positive charge. So there is a loss of nitrogen. Okay, and since this bond pair of electron is taken by this N positive to release as a neutral nitrogen molecule, so that left with no electron over this nitrogen. It left with just six pair of electrons. One its earlier lone pair of electron, another this negative charge, and another this bond pair of electrons. So that gave rise to a corresponding nitrine. Now with this method we can prepare both singlet nitrine as well as triplet nitrine. Now if this reaction is carried out in absence of solvent, that means you use no solvent, that will result in a formation of singlet nitrine, and in presence of solvent, when the reaction is performed in presence of solvent, that results in a triplet nitrine. So we can prepare singlet as well as triplet nitrine by the thermolysis of azides. The second method of their preparation is from sulfonyl amines. We can also prepare from phenyl sulfonyl amines. We can prepare them from the sulfonyl amines. So again by their thermolysis. Now thermolysis means heating bonds by breaking bonds by heating. So this molecule is your sulfonyl amine. So when you heat this molecule, it undergoes a bond breaking. This sulfur oxide molecule leave. So this gives rise to a corresponding phenyl nitrine plus sulfur monoxide, and this can be easily prepared from aniline by its reaction with sulfonyl chloride or thionyl chloride. This molecule is a thionyl chloride. Now next method of their preparation is from nitro and nitroso compounds. From nitro and nitroso compounds. Now we can prepare them by deoxygenation of these nitro and nitroso compound, and this deoxygenation is usually carried out in presence of triphenyl phosphine. For example, if you have a nitro compound or nitroso compound, and if you heat these molecules in presence of triphenyl phosphine, deoxygenation takes place to give rise to a corresponding nitrines. Deoxygenation takes place to give rise to a corresponding nitrines, plus loss of these triphenyl phosphine oxide. So I can write its mechanism also. So let's see its mechanism. Deoxygenation of these nitro and nitrosyl compounds in presence of triphenyl phosphine. So if we write down its mechanism, now this aryl nitro compounds can be written as, so this is your aryl nitro compound and it react with triphenyl phosphine. So what happens is this is a positive charge of this nitrogen, so that withdraw electrons from this oxygen and this oxygen becomes electron deficient. So these electrons they attack from the phosphorus attacks on oxygen and these pi electrons they shift to nitrogen. So this result in a formation of this one. And since it has phosphorus has lost its pair of electron, so now it become positively charged. Then these negative charge, so again its molecule is unstable, so this negative charge they shift in between this nitrogen oxygen bond to give rise to a double bond over here, and this bond break. So this give rise to a nitroso compound, double bond oxygen with loss of triphenyl phosphine oxide. Now this another undergoes a deoxygenation process in presence of again triphenyl phosphine. It again undergoes a deoxygenation by the same pathway to give rise to a corresponding aryl nitrene. So there is a loss of another molecule of triphenyl phosphine oxide by the same pathway. So again another molecule, another phosphorus atom attacks over here, this electron shift over here, then there's again loss of this triphenyl phosphine oxide. We can also prepare these nitrines from nitrons. We can also prepare them from nitrons by their photolysis. Photolysis means breaking bond in presence of light. So what are nitrons? Nitrons are general compounds which are having nitrogen oxygen bond. So these kind of compounds they are called nitrons, which are having nitrogen positive or negative bonds, they are called nitrons. For example, if you have this molecule, so this is your nitron. So what happens is there's a negative charge over here and there's a positive charge. So this negative charge attack over this carbon, these pi electrons they shift to this nitrogen to give rise to a cyclic compound, cyclic three-membered compound in which you have a this kind of system, and this is called oxyranes. So this is called oxygyranes. Now these oxygyranes they undergoes a photolysis in presence of light to give rise to a corresponding aryl nitrene plus this aldehyde. So this portion give rise to aldehyde and this portion give rise to a corresponding nitrene. The last method of their preparation is by alpha prime elimination reaction. You can also say 1-1 elimination reaction. For example, if you have this one, so upon heating this undergoes a alpha elimination. So both of these molecules they leave, one with bond pair of electrons and without another without bond pair of electron to give rise to a corresponding nitrene. So these are the few methods by which these nitrines can be prepared. In next video lecture we will discuss reactions of these nitrines.